All right. So one more time, my name is Hannah Bennigsen. I am the Library Now program assistant here with the Milwaukee Public Library. And this is our kickoff Library Now drop-in session. So we will be offering these the second Thursday of the month, November through May. So we'll follow the academic year. Two sessions, 3 to 3:30 and 4 to 4:30. And this time is kind of has a twofold purpose. The first half, we like to introduce a cool tool. So we like to dive in with you and do some show and tell and explore something that maybe you haven't come across if you are a frequent flyer with Library Now. So we'll spend the first 15-ish minutes doing that. And then most importantly, we really do want to hear from you if you have questions that come up in the course of our cool tool exploration, or if you came to this session for the purposes of troubleshooting or with an idea or ask. The second half will be dedicated space and time for that. So destination today, the theme of our first Library Now drop-in is Library Now New and Improved. So when we first had the vision for Library Now and design Library Now, the emphasis was on getting resources in front of students and young people as quickly as possible. So we developed out the Kids and Teens tab, which you may be familiar with if you've utilized Library Now before. But we think that educators deserve the same streamlined access to the same resources, as well as some resources and fun stuff specifically for you as educators and human beings. So that is what we're going to be focusing on today. Before we do so, I know it's kind of the beginning-ish of the school year, at least with the weather like it is today. I feel like I'm still transitioning into the fall semester. So let's do a refresher of what is Library Now. So in a snapshot, Library Now is a resource of resources. It is a streamlined, hyper user-friendly way for students and educators to access academically and professionally enriching content. So while we have hundreds upon hundreds of databases, we wanted to make it more accessible, reduce the number of clicks that it takes for you and your students to get to those resources. We wanted to ensure that these resources on Library Now are available to you and your students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they are always, always for free. So we think of access always, it's of the utmost importance to us. Library Now is not designed for you as educators or us as library employees to act as gatekeepers when it comes to the login credentials. So this is a really integral part of the design of Library Now as well. So we'd like to give you a refresher of how you and your students go about accessing this wealth of resources that is just one URL away. So if you are attending this session, you are employed at one of our Library Now partner institutions in some capacity. So all of our Library Now partners work with us to provide two kind of key bits of student information: student ID numbers and the birth year of your students. So as of today, all of your students already have access to Library Now because of the partnership that we at the library have formed with your school or institution. So the vast majority of our Library Now partners are able to give us student ID, birth year, and students can log in with those numbers so that they're more muscle memory for students. Again, so students don't have to ask us or ask you, what is the convention for the login again? They should already know their student ID, and they will always use their 4-digit birth year to log in. If you would like a refresher on what your partner and what your school's login credentials are, Victoria will go ahead and post those in the chat. The majority use this, but there are a few partners that have a slight different tweak to what this looks like. But as you can hopefully see, this is designed so that students can be empowered, and you can empower students to access that 24/7 piece with their student ID and birth year in their back pocket. Educator access is just as unlimited, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and free, but you take a slightly different avenue. So as a Library Now partner school, when we partner with your network or your one-off school, we will launch our train the trainer model. That's step one for us. We either virtually present to your network or school, or before the pandemic, we would come in person to train you as educators, librarians, whatever role you play, as to how to navigate Library Now so that you can go on to train and empower your students. Unlike your students who have that immediate access because of the nature of the MPL and Library Now partner school relationship, educators do have to opt in to create your virtual teacher card. So we will spend the part of that first train the trainer session at your school walking you through what that looks like. If you are a new librarian or educator and you haven't done this before, we can help in the second part of the session. Or if you can't remember what your logins were, we can help. We can help you renew it, whatever is on your mind. But just so you know, the way that you do that is by going to the educator tab and you select the sign up for a virtual teacher card to opt into Library Now access. And without further ado, we'll get to the show part of show and tell. We're going to talk about what awaits you one click away in terms of curated educator resources. So I'm going to go ahead and exit here, and we're going to navigate to the Library Now homepage to show you what it looks like. So whenever you and your students want to access Library Now, you will type in librarynow.org. If you are a frequent flyer here at Library Now, you'll recognize the Kids and Teens tab, which you can certainly explore in your own time, but we're going to spend the rest of our time living in the land of the Educator tab. So you will see that this is set up very similarly to the way that we envisioned the Kids and Teens tab. We hope you feel like a kid in a candy store looking at all of these. A lot of the user experience is going to be identical for you. Not only do we have a lot of repeat resources that we imagine that educators would benefit from if students do as well, but we have kind of created 4 different bins for you as educators so that you can categorize and have a starting point for where to dive in depending on what you need. So you can come in with the purpose of looking for research resources, reading, learning, and leisure. We've also got some professional resources for you, hoping that a lot of these will help you in your curriculum building, your lesson planning, and providing additional enrichment materials and supportive materials to your students. We've also got these MPL educator resources, which we'll talk about in just a moment. You will also see that each of the resources has this little eye bubble. So you can click on this as a quick little elevator pitch of what each has to offer to refresh yourself as to what is the difference between Learning Network and teaching books, or Hoopla and BrainFuse, or whatever it may be. So that's a kind of ease of access to refresh your memory feature that we have built in. I'm going to navigate over to this left-hand side and we're going to work our way up. These resources on the Educator tab are by no means meant to be exhaustive. This is just resources that are here by demand, those that we want to give you that immediate access to in the spirit of reducing the number of clicks. But if you are a Pandora's box kind of person, we want you to have access to everything, the hundreds upon hundreds of databases that the Milwaukee Public Library has to offer you. So first and foremost, County Cat is linked down here. This is the library's online catalog. So you can utilize this as you would if you were navigating to the library's homepage. We've given you a link to all MPL databases. That is a massive candy store for you to choose from. If you want to hone in, funnel a little bit, you can use our filter to see more educator resources from MPL. Another really cool feature, we link to book, media, mentor text lists. And these are curated thematic and content specific book lists put together by our very talented and creative librarians. So if you want to pull those to expand out on your reading list for students as an educator or a librarian, or as a human, you want some reading recommendations, you can reference that. And then I'll hop to the top first, and then we'll end it more about Library Now. Here is that sign up for a virtual teacher card that I told you about, that we're always happy in drop-ins to walk you through, or we'll give you our email at the end if you have questions, as well as instructional videos, promotional videos about Library Now and whatnot, if you're a visual person like I am, which you may be if you are here at this session today. So let's go ahead and dive into the More About Library Now tab. So these 4 blue boxes are 4 different invitations to continue to connect with us here on the educational outreach team. So even though we talk about the train the trainer model and that first point of contact being a training session provided for your network or your school, we want to continuously be in relationship with you and continue to collaborate with you in the Library Now takeover. So we really are hoping that you are introducing Library Now in your classroom, introducing Library Now to your colleagues, to the parents and family members that you work with. And the only way that we can make that ask of you is if we are like head over heels excited about the prospect of supporting you in that. So these 4 buttons are ways that you can request additional materials from us to do just that. So first and foremost, if you want to introduce Library Now to your students in a classroom PowerPoint format, you can fill out this form, and then we can give you age-specific, content-specific presentations, PowerPoint slides, and materials for you to use in the classroom. We also similarly give you an opportunity to request materials for a family engagement night or a literacy night. Say you are super excited about Brain Fuse, which is one of our blockbusters that offers tutoring services, and it's a parent-teacher conference night, and you want materials or handouts so that you can tell parents about this amazing tutoring service for additional support for their students. You can submit this form and tell us what you're looking for. Again, so that you can go above and beyond what is existing in the classroom, and introduce that to your family and greater community. If you want another professional development session from us, we really would love to connect with you and your newer colleagues via a refresher training, or if you are part of MPS, we target some of your professional development days. But if you think, hey, this would be really beneficial for my school specifically to have a Library Now PD session, a train the trainer session, let us know, get in touch. And last but not least, if you are a champion and you have been doing all of those things, we really want to recognize you in your efforts. So we have what we call a Library Now Champion micro credential. So if you are introducing this to your students, if you're introducing it to colleagues and family members, if you've used it for additional programming and you are just going above and beyond, we want to recognize you for that. We hope that Library Now will be a part of your ongoing professional development. We hope it'll be a resume building thing for you, one of many tools in your toolkit. And so again, if you've done all of that, and if we see you for say the next 6 months of drop-ins, you can come in here, fill out this form, tell us basically how you're using Library Now, and we will send you a micro badge and email signature that you can use, and you can continue to flex about how well you know Library Now. No, something that is of interest and of note was we are currently working with an emerging Library Now partner and a school counselor who recently moved to this new school. And she had shared with us that in interviewing for her current position, she had talked about Library Now and they'd asked her kind of what initiatives she would implement in her new school. We were so excited, again, because we really want you to be recognized for this as a really distinctive thing that you can offer as an educator, a librarian, administrator, and beyond. All right, so we will happily navigate back to the Library Now homepage if you have any inquiries. But before we do, I wanted to toggle back to our presentation, and we're going to share just a few more opportunities. Uh-oh, I think I clicked out of it. Here we go. There's always so much happening at the library, so we'd love to get in front of you with upcoming MPL opportunities, upcoming opportunities to attend additional drop-ins and whatnot. And then in just a few minutes, we will start fielding your inquiries. So I'm going to fly through here. Much more is available. We'll field inquiries about any of these, but this is tip of the iceberg time. We hope that you'll explore on your own. And we hope that you'll be back in November, in December and January to explore the Learning Network and new Library Now resources with us. So second Thursday of the month, November through May, 3 to 3:30 and 4 to 4:30. December 8th, we'll be exploring the New York Times Learning Network. And January 12th, we'll be exploring new Library Now resources for the new year. So resources that are not currently on the Library Now landing page, which is pretty exciting. So we're constantly updating, and so many resources are on Library Now because of your feedback as educators. So without further ado, Victoria, I'll ask you to chime in regarding all that is happening at MPL.
I am happy to do that, Hannah. We want everybody to know that we, of course, are open. We're back. We're back in business. We're welcoming the public. And this is, I think we said tip of the iceberg a number of times during our session today, but really that's what MPL is about, is like the tip of the iceberg with so many resources and things that are happening as a hub to support the community. So I'm just calling out three here that I want everybody to know about. The first is after school at MPL, which takes place at Capitol, Tippecanoe, and Village Square libraries, Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 5:30. It is free. Drop in, don't have to register, just show up. We have an hour of homework help followed by a daily hands-on learning activity that's STEAM or STEM based, exploration, just a time to connect with youth in the library, and that is facilitated through our MPL AmeriCorps program. And then we have 3 maker spaces with vibrant 21st century technology that offer open making time Monday through Thursday. Those are at the Good Hope Mitchell Street and Washington Park locations. And then we have a variety of programs for adults that include everything from entrepreneurship to money management to book clubs to community conversations. I will throw in the chat momentarily where you can find all of this information so you don't have to take note necessarily. But if you go to mpl.org on our homepage, all of the lists, the entire list of events and programs for birth to adult is listed there.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much, Victoria. We are happy to open it to questions now. If something pops into your mind, 11 minutes from now, after we've concluded our time together, you can always email us at librarynow@milwaukee.gov. We are always happy to troubleshoot, to help you introduce Library Now to your students and your community in any way that we can. So thank you for being here today, and the floor is yours with anything that's on your mind.